So with all the movies that you guys watch, primarily like a lot of these, like, deep cuts that the majority of people, if they're just stumbling into horror, they're just getting into that genre they probably haven't seen before. What's a few of them that really stand out that you are actually surprised by?
Surprised in what way? How bad they were or how good they were?
Like how
Ooh,
good
how good they were. We'll go to how good they were first.
Oh, okay,
There's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah, okay.
Plan 9. Plan 9. That's one of my favorite bad movies.
And that's the one that always gets panned as the worst movie. Okay,
It isn't the worst.
It's probably technically a bad movie.
No. Astro Zombies is way worse than.
I mean, when I saw Plan 9 for the first time, I'm like, why are people saying this is a bad movie? There's nothing wrong. I mean,
there's a certain charm to it where it's
gosh.
enjoyable.
He was trying so hard.
It's so fun to watch.
And it's not boring. The worst movies, no matter what the genre, are the ones that are just, you wish that you would could get your time back.
Like Manos?
You get angry, like, why? I could have been sleeping. I could have been doing anything, watching paint dry. Seriously. This is that. No, Manos, The Hands of Fate, still not the worst movie I've ever seen.
What about Teenage Zombies?
Teenage Zombies?
That one's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It had a few cool effects, but...
Is it worse than Teenage Cavemen?
That's pretty bad, too. Some of Corman's movies, I'm sorry, weren't so great. I didn't think they were so great, but...
some of them are bad. Like
Night of the Blood Beast, that was kind of weird.
Night of the Blood Beast is bad. The ones that really stand out by Corman in those early days for me were either was it Attack of the Crab Monsters and the Wasp Woman.
I love Wasp Woman.
Yeah, Wasp Woman's good.
I watch that one all the time. That and Little Shop of Horrors I like a lot.
Yeah, that one's really funny.
That movie, by the way, I added sound effects to that one not too long ago, and that was difficult because you don't realize how many jokes are written into the script. It's all like just dark humor, very bizarre. It's a send up of horror movies. There's nothing serious about it. There's a lot of some like ethnic stuff going on between if you're familiar with some of that New York lingo and that, or even where this was happened in California, Skid Row. But still, those some of the ethnic people around the time that were there.
Yeah,
it was just interesting how they were kind of just throwing that kind of stuff around, and but it was a good. That's a good movie.
It's a good cheesy movie.
Yeah, I've always loved Little Shop for and then you get to see Jack Nicholson pretty much in his first
acting role.
Yeah, pretty much, because he'd go on to do all those what were those Edgar Allan Poe movies with Corman later on.
He did The Terror with Karloff, and some other stuff, and then he did the biker movies, and I think that's what took him off there. They got kind of crazy, but surprisingly good movies. Yeah, I mean those are I was some of the Corman stuff.
What else? Satanic Rites of Dracula was pretty good.
That's kind of Hammerish, right? That's a Hammer movie.
It was. But I think it was one of those that
was low-end Hammer movie.
Yeah.
Well, what a bizarre. One of our favorites, and ever since I was a kid, was Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things.
Ooh, that's an awesome movie.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, wow. We're going to show it. We can't. Okay, we can say it. We're going to show it for our 100th episode.
Yeah, that's coming up in 2 weeks.
That's right. We've already shown it before, but we didn't put the sound effects in it because we like the movie so much.
Yeah, it's really good on its own where you don't really have to put sound effects in it. But we played it a couple years ago for a Halloween show.
I mean, the title alone, right? Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Right away, you're like, what's that? Now, the Ghoul used to show that movie back in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up watching him. And what it's about is basically a bunch of theater types go out, like
hipster theater students.
They're
hippie. Yeah.
This movie was made in the early 70s, so they got the striped pants and
the bell bottoms,
goatees, and the peasant shirts. They go to this like little potter's field on an island, where they bury criminals and the insane. And their intent is they go out and raise the dead. They bring a satanic book. Dried baby's blood, I guess, in an envelope, like really weird.
And
right?
It's like them playing around, and they're trying to bring a dead guy back to life.
They wind up mocking him, mocking the devil, and then they just go back in that little house that's there. But you know what? It worked.
All kinds of crap happens.
So they're trapped on this island, basically. They try to get to the boat. That whole scenario. Mm-hmm. But it's done, and they're flesh-eating zombies. They're not voodoo zombies.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the more terrifying kind of. It's creepy, eerie, like smaller, low-budget zombie movies I've seen since ever. I mean, I still love it.
It's fun. It's
Check
really
that one
fun.
out.
A little gory, but it's cool.
Oh, that's what's cool about it, too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that one out because supernatural zombies are always my favorite. I don't know. I feel like when you try and like use too much science to explain the zombie, they kind of lose that mystique to them. You know what I mean? They become less threatening.
That was like the goofy, like when a meteor fell and it made zombie.
Well,
Yeah, like Night of the Creeps with the alien slugs that just put themselves in your brain.
Right. Weird. Okay. Just trying to figure out a new way to make zombies. Huh?
this when all
Inventing
the
new-
lockdown stuff was going on, we played The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price.
Well,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a mistake.
And that was a big mistake.
She picked that one out.
I mean,
We
oops.
played it. See, we played it before, but it's getting to the point too. And here's another thing we're encountering. There are probably at least a handful of movies out there still we haven't touched as far as public domain horror / maybe there's probably more sci-fi than horror out there right now at this point because we're up to almost our 100th episode. So streaming episodes. So we're kind of running.
We've
running out of
replayed a
movies.
handful.
So we started
Yeah.
playing the movies, but because a lot of people don't watch every show that we've ever done. So anyone that's coming on new watching, they didn't see what we showed a year ago. Will they go back and watch it? Maybe, I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, if it's been a while since we've aired it, then it's like, okay, let's replay it for the new fans.
And all the horror hosts I grew up watching on television, they never repeated the show, but they would repeat movies. So
Right. Well, I mean, there's some gems in those public domains, like the original Dracula. I think that one's public domain, isn't
is
it?
it really? I mean, I don't know that I messed with that.
31.
I know,
It's got to be like a certain cut of the Bela Lugosi version.
So we have to look that up because it does come up on this public domain site.
it does?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
as far as
does
it must be a certain cut.
yeah.
well, so does Night of the Living Dead as well. That
Yes.
one's a classic. I'm surprised they never tried to copyright that one over the years because that one's phenomenal.
But like you said, it's certain versions are definitely
Yeah, there's
Right.
a cleaned up Blu-ray version of it now that is not public domain, but like
No, you got to get the
older
original
versions are.
cuts.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting too how that works. But wow, yeah.
some good ones.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite, like, really bad B movies is. Have you ever seen The Fiend Without a Face?
That's a Billy Idol song, right? Fiend without a face. No. Yes, I have. Now I know that.
I don't remember if I've
That's
seen
the
that
one with the brains that
Yeah,
have the vertebrae tails.
Oh, is that where the brains are like?
And they have these antennae, and
Yeah.
they jump up on you, and they on your back
Okay.
of your neck, and when you shoot them, they turn into this like cheese, gross stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
think
awesome.
I did see that one. Is that public domain?
No,
No.
I
Okay.
wish.
Now that one's not. Oh man, I love that one.
So Joey Vento, our friend Joey Vento, made or
Oh, he's
bought
got the
a,
brain in the jar.
He has one of those
yeah.
fiends in a big
Okay.
case that he put together.
Now I
Pretty neat,
remember.
yeah.
It's been a
Oh,
while.
did he get one of the original props or did he make it himself?
No, you can tell about Joey Vento and
Yeah,
that haunted barn in New Jersey.
Our friend Joey has he collects movie memorabilia, movie props, and he has, I think they're up in New York, the Haunted Barn Movie Museum.
Okay.
They're closed because of what's going on this year, but
What's going on? We talking about?
they're doing little virtual things
Wear a
through
mask, huh?
Google Meet. But yeah, he's got a great collection of
But they do have movie props. His father had a little cameo in The Beast from 20,000 Phantoms.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's like one of the
shoremen.
The shoremen, yeah, that are on with the hook, He's got a
Yeah.
shoreman,
He's in
long
there for
shoreman.
like a couple seconds.
Yeah, but it's a sort of a family businessy type of thing where Joey started, and he just would collect, and then eventually Forrest Ackerman would give him stuff.
Yeah, he has stuff from Ackerman.
Yeah,
So it's
with
awesome.
movie props and pieces of this
Masks
and that.
and little pieces of things.
But anyway,
That's
so
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen. I forget the name of it offhand, but there's a guy who goes around the different Comic Cons that has the mobile movie museum that I really dig going through his, and he always has like stuff come and go. I don't know if they're on loan from certain collections or what the case may be, but it's always like an ever rotating collection of props I like.
that's a cool idea. I'd like to see
Yeah.
that myself.
That's
yeah.
really neat.
Yeah, he's definitely been up at Chicago Pop Culture Con a few times. He was, I want to say he was at Wizard World Chicago one of the years as well.
Huh.
maybe a different collector.
I'm
Yeah.
sure several guys must do that run around.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of guys that do that.
Because that's what
they're-
Joey
Oh.
does at what do you call that, Monster Bash in Mars, Pennsylvania. He'll bring his a little sampling of what they have at the Haunted Barn and do a little, a little show in the.
like a what do they call it? Discussion panel.
Yeah, they'll show some of the props he has and some of the stuff he has.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's like a renaissance of prop making as well with like a lot of the modern cons. So like seeing that love for props and just the creativity that goes into making them. I mean, it's always phenomenal.
Yeah, practical effects rule. I mean, there's something sort of fun about them, even though you can tell it's kind of it's not real, but but your imagination gets to fill the blanks in.
But to me, some of those practical effects look more believable to my eyes.
Oh yeah.
It depends on how the CGI is done with the computer stuff. Sometimes it looks like you're watching a video game.
The graphics aren't that polished. It looks just as hokey as any bad CGI,
Yeah.
or any bad special effect.
But like Harryhausen, I mean, his creatures always looked amazing.
You look past the fact that they're real jerky, but but at the time, even when you watch the original King Kong movie now, you can't imagine that audiences were freaked out when it first came out in 1933 or when it came out.
I think he still looks cool though. After all
Of
those
course,
years.
I mean it's an endearing movie. You love Kong, but I'm saying at the time, when people saw this, if you read the reviews, people were like fainting and running out. They were afraid.
Yeah, there was I want to say for the 75th or 80th anniversary, what was that 2-3 years ago for King Kong? They actually showed it on the big screen, and me and my sister went, and there was an entire group of kids like right in front of us, like, and like, I'm talking like little kids, like 5, 6, 7 year olds, probably like 4 as well. But as soon as King Kong came on the screen, they all jumped and they didn't know what hit them. So like, I don't know, there's just something long lasting about Kong.
Something still to it, yeah.
He's evergreen.
It was able to affect adults that way. That's pretty wild back then. But I think people are very jaded now because of CGI. Oh, that doesn't look real. Well, it's not about that. It was about all they had. Although I do contend, and I know I get a lot of people that look at me and go, "What are you talking about?" I think if you took some of these computers back to that time and you say, "Hey, look what you could do," these guys would take all those models and throw them right in the garbage. And be like, "That's what I'm trying to do, not this, but this is all we can do."
Yeah, well, I mean, I always like CGI when it's used to enhance practical effects in horror. Like there was a film came out last year. It was that Nicolas Cage sci-fi flick, A Color Out of Space.
Color Out of Space, yeah. We're supposed to watch that. We haven't seen it yet.
We still need to see that.
Highly recommend it. There's a sequence in the film that it has a lot of practical effects, very reminiscent of The Thing, and you could definitely tell where they got the inspiration from. But the way they use the CGI just to add like different textures and like layers and like just little bits of sliminess, it just enhances everything. So I like CGI when it's used sparingly, I guess, with practical effects.
Yeah, that sounds like if it's blended like that would be, it would look a lot better. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm always going to be more impressed with, a practical head exploding than anything a computer can generate.
Yeah, watch scanners or something like that. But it's funny because it's a different genre, but like these superhero movies, they're laden with, I love them. I grew up with comic books too, but sometimes you just get a little overwhelmed. It's like too much frosting on a cake. It's like just too much of everything CGI. And I don't know.
Or like in those new Transformers movies where everything is going so fast. Where I'm like, what is that? It's like some robot doing something, and it's like a blur.
That's the Transformers movies in general.
Yeah.
Some robot doing something.
I wasn't a fan of them, but
Nah, I can't say I was a fan of the Transformers flicks either. And I don't know, man. Like, there's something disheartening about like looking up the set photos and just seeing like a bunch of actors just in front of a green screen, and that's all it is. It's like, man, I don't know. Like, there's something more impressive, and it's a really bad example because it's a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. But there's something impressive about a giant set like Waterworld built just out in the middle of the ocean, and just the amount of detail and work and construction that went into something like that. It's tangible, you know?
That was
Yeah.
probably the tail end of when these studios would go way overboard and just make everything, because the CGI didn't really. Well, back then it kind of existed, but but there was that trade was still around. I think it was
Yeah.
just dying around Waterworld. But yeah, there was something about actually being on that raft and not pretending to be on a raft, or that was add everything else in. Yeah, I agree with that. There's just
Yeah,
something.
when you're building these sets and the props, and that's what I liked about those old Hammer films is the costuming, the
Oh
beautiful
yeah.
mansions and castles they were in. It was, it looked real because it was.
Well, and if you want to get crazy, I mean, you go back to like the silent era, like Metropolis. That movie is
That movie's that
Oh,
cool.
or
yeah.
even Caligari.
They hand painted everything.
Everything was so much detail because again, that's all they could do. Is if they had this vision, then they had to do it that way. You had to build it because there's no other way to do it. But it's just so much more impressive. Even in the original Frankenstein movie, the layer he was in with that huge stupid
They
wall.
built
I mean,
all that.
what is all of that? And those stairs are all craggly and cool, and the laboratory. I mean, that stuff was just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's especially like those old Universal monster movies. You know,
Okay.
the way they use mood and lighting. Like, there's something simplistic. There's something beautiful in its simplicity because what they had available to them. I don't know. Like that aesthetic's just timeless.
Yeah, they made it, and it still holds up. If you watch it, you just sit there and go, "Man, they really thought this through." It wasn't like we'll just put Tom Cruise in it and we'll slap CGI around it, and it's going to be a good movie. No, that doesn't mean. Yeah, that's.
Oh, I hate that movie.
Universal had this beautiful chance to, bring back, and if it were I in charge, I would have tried to capture some of that atmosphere, and maybe
Yeah.
made all these movies black and white. Who cares?
Now that's a cool idea. Are you listening, Universal? If they ever remake the monsters or make spin-offs of the monsters, yeah, do the old school black and white. Actually hand paint the sets. Do
Yeah.
practical effects.
or even create CGI sets that look like that. Do whatever you have to do, but don't let that go. You don't have to copy it and then remake it. And let's not get into remakes, but
Well, no, they could come up with other monsters.
but if you're gonna reboot this whole classic thing, don't be afraid to go back to a little bit of what made it classic. That's
Yeah.
just